Okay, ready? We're gonna do a scene, but instead of like my mom in real life, which you are, you're gonna be like my evil, hyper-religious, fundamentalist Christian mother. And you're gonna tell me that womanhood is sin. And then I'm gonna blast you away with my telekinesis. Okay, ready? Go.
Womanhood is sin.
And welcome to the swamp. Woo! Hi, everyone. Emily is not here this week because she's doing something what we call in the business the Lord's work, which is driving someone to the airport at 2:30 in the morning. And specifically, I have no qualms with Logan. I'm not well-traveled. I haven't really been to too many airports. But the Boston airport, it's like once you get inside, it's kind of fine. But the outside is so fucked for no reason. Like, why is it shaped like that? Why are all of a sudden you're like in a taxi only area and you're like, how did I get here? And that's my experience with it generally. So the worst thing to do is when somebody asks you to either, honestly, drop off is not so bad. Pick up, horrendous.
So stressful.
Horrendous. I'm like already a bad driver, and suddenly there's like 9,000 other factors. Anyways, Emily's not going to be here this week, but we called in a sub, Jen, who you know and love, who's here every week to do chocolate or vanilla. But this week, we're just going to talk about the movie Carrie, because you and I, in 2013, saw the remake starring newlywed Chloe Grace Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz just got married like this past weekend.
Chloe.
Yeah, to longtime partner, whose name I forget, but is a woman and a model. So a lot of the articles were like announced that they got married in a way that didn't seem like they married each other. And it was like, that's kind of weird. It's like, you're like, congratulations to these two brides. It's like, yes, who married each other? And you didn't specify that in your article title. But Chloe Grace Moretz did wear like a somewhat punishable pimp suit. They both had beautiful dresses. I thought the dresses were nice. Chloe's dress was like a baby blue, and then the other one was white. So it was like, a traditional bride, and then like another beautiful but light toned gown.
Nice. But then they changed.
But then Chloe changed into like a very like 2015 Beyonce like white pimp suit and like big flat stomp clap hey music type hat, which was not my preference, but maybe she's just very stuck in that era because that was probably when she was like, I feel like you kind of freeze the era in which you were maybe like in high school or a little later,
Yeah.
like when your, I don't know, sense of fashion develops or whatever. So I'm not going to blame Chloe Grace Moretz for being a little bit 2010s pilled.
Especially if she was happy.
Right, and congratulations to the happy couple. But anyways, Jen is here, and we're going to talk about the 1976 version of Carrie, because we're going to do Stephen King September. All Stephen King movies this month. Hopefully we're going to get around to see The Long Walk. Do you know about that?
You told me about this, actually, at the coffee shop the other day.
It's a Stephen King book about a bunch of teenage boys in some dystopian society, I haven't read it, who have to all just like start walking. And then if you stop walking, like you die, and that's the end, and there can only be one.
I feel like this sounds like a flashback movie. Like they're going to have to do flashbacks of each of the kids and
their backstories.
Yeah.
Maybe they know each other. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because just watching them fail is going to be like a buzzkill.
Upsetting. Yeah. I don't really know what to expect from it, but I do know that Cooper Hoffman is in it. Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Right.
He's very much like a young rising star. And then, I feel so bad, but I forget his name. But he was in the new Alien movie, Alien Romulus, and he played an android character. And he was just like the absolute scene stealer. Only rewarding part of that movie for me, really. Like, I was like, wow, this would kind of have been trash if this kid didn't give such a performance. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And then I think maybe the kid from Moonlight is in it too. Okay. So a lot of like young actors, who are in their late 20s, who they're casting as teens.
And
type
when
energy.
is it coming out?
Pretty soon, I think. Maybe next week.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, really soon.
Okay.
Wait, and not to jump the gun a little bit, because we are going to talk about Carrie, but Jen is my favorite person in the world to talk about Oscars buzz with, because you and I, every year, we see all of them together and we sort of develop our opinions. And honestly, I'm going to say we have like a 100% success rate, except like there are some years where there's just like one movie that you just like genuinely cannot sit through kind of deal.
So we watch it, but we don't really watch it.
Right, like
Mank.
Like Mank. I'm like, truly, I have to be more drunk right now to be watching this, which means there's, 3 hours left, and that's how I'm feeling. But we do see like most of them most of the time.
Yeah. This year, what was the one with Adrian Brody?
The Brutalist.
Yeah, that was my Mank of this year. I had trouble getting through it.
Even that one stands out as like, at least it was tolerable. Like Emilia Paris.
Oh,
like,
also
oh my
horrible.
God. Which, So to speak of the pre-Oscar buzz, I guess, the Venice Film Festival and the Telluride, I don't know. Telluride, okay.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. Film festivals were just this past week, so all of the like reviews from that are sort of informing the pre-Oscar buzz. I still think it's a little too early to like really tell, because sometimes there are these like crazy shout outs that then just like fizzle out. Yeah, for sure. But if we remember last year, it was after these festivals that everyone was like, Emilia Paris is the movie. And I was like, what the fuck? And then it got all the Golden Globe and then subsequent Oscar nominations. And it was kind of like, huh? So I don't really trust, when everyone's saying Hamnet, a 47-minute standing ovation for the life of Anne Lee. Like, I'm like, I simply cannot trust what this is saying.
Isn't 15 minutes the over-under for standing ovations? As far as if it's over, it's probably an Oscar nom.
That is just ridiculous to me.
Yeah. How long do you think your longest standing ovation was? I'm going to say less than a minute for me.
What, like in my actual life? It was probably for like a group activity, like my fucking graduation or some shit. Like,
I'm thinking like if you, like a Broadway show or something.
Oh, how
like
much
that.
I've ever stood. Under sub a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe about a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, longest I've ever stood. Hardly. Like, I'm usually kind of one of the first ones to be like, well, I feel like I usually buy bad tickets. If you're in the front, you're probably more likely to stand longer. Like, proximity to...
Oh, you're one of the first ones to sit back down. You're like, okay.
Right, because I'm like in the nosebleeds, though. I'm like, nobody can fucking see me.
Nobody knows.
Clap, like, okay. But I don't know. I might give into the social pressure of the 27-minute standing O. If nobody around me, if I was like right next to Amanda Seyfried and she's like sobbing, and I'm like, okay, and we're gonna keep going, right? Maybe. But so it's a Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
Yes.
Which, like, I get that it's based off of a book, and that's the name of the book and everything, but that's so fucking stupid name for a movie. Sorry, you're just asking people to be confused.
Yeah, well, it's
Hamlet.
Yeah, it's about Hamlet, right?
But it's Hamnet. Hamnet is the name, like, whatever specific... Like,
so obviously during the movie, there's going to be a pivotal point where somebody switches the name. It's not Hamnet, it's Hamlet.
Oh, you think? I don't know the history. I don't know the context.
I don't know either.
I just assumed it was some, like, old-timey thing, like maybe it was called Hamnet until in whatever century English they switched over and the letters became different.
Not to pivot, my college roommate Dara dated an English major, and whenever he misspelled something, he'd say, well, that's the old English way.
The old English way. Wait, that's a really good... If you mispronounce something and somebody like calls you out, you're like, that was old English and actually you're stupid. Like, that's kind of a good pivot, honestly. Oh my God.
What are some of the other ones?
So it was Hamnet, Chloe Zhao, who did Nomadland. So I feel like that was only a couple of years ago. So we're pretty like high on, probably they'll just cherry pick like 4 female directors and just cycle through them as nominations as like the token one woman option. But I am hopeful because, like I was saying, there's this movie called The Testament of Anne Lee, which is starring Amanda Seyfried and apparently got some sort of absurd, whatever minute standing ovation.
I know nothing about this movie.
It's about, so I guess Anne Lee is the woman who founded the Shaker religion. If you know about the Shakers. Yep. And singing, I think, is a really big part of the Shaker foundations or whatever. So I think it's like maybe part musical or like a musically informed movie about the Shaker religion, which is kind of cool. But everyone's saying it's like a big breakthrough performance for Amanda Seyfried. And it's also directed by a woman. So that's cool. Hopefully it's a good movie. We'll have to wait and see. I have no thoughts about the Shakers.
All I know is like Shaker furniture is a thing.
Right, like Amish furniture. Yeah. Oh my God, I used to live in an area that had a lot of Amish people living around. And I would say upstate New York, but some would argue that I lived in central New York. I think it's in the upper part, so I can say upper, but like whatever with your semantics. But the part of New York that's not New York City, basically, is the rest of it. And there's a lot of Amish people. And the farmers markets popped off.
It was a good farmers market by you.
Extensive, like, produce, but also baked goods. Like, they are fire making bread and, yeah, farms and meats, but also furniture, too. Shouts out to the Amish. Not sure if I agree.
I couldn't do it, but
don't agree with your ways of life, but I'd love to be a patron at your farmer's market. But yeah, I guess it's going to be Jessie Buckley in Hamnet as like an early actress nom, sort of speculation. And then Miss Amanda Seyfried as Anne Lee in this movie, which I'm like, maybe this gives a flash in the pan, will fizzle out early, but also may give like token female director movie. Like it's giving, remember Women Talking?
Yes.
Right? That was like probably one of the best movies we saw that year, but just like was nominated in a handful and just didn't quite like, you can always tell the movies that get like 10 nominations versus the ones that get like 3.
Right.
And you're like, ooh.
Yeah,
tough. But I wrote down, so if I were to like lock in right now what I think the 10, if I had to say 10 movies.
Sinners is still a front runner, correct?
I hope. Yeah, yes. I really hope it doesn't get overlooked or forgotten just because it came out earlier in the year. I hate that they try to like exclusively condense it to this like end of the year film festival circuit. I think Sinners should definitely be considered.
Yeah. And before you do your list, is there one with Bryan Cranston, like a 70s family kind of movie?
Oh, maybe.
Allison Janney, maybe?
Oh, maybe. There's also like a Netflix movie starring Adam Sandler and who fucking else? Like not Brad Pitt, but some George Clooney. That's who it is. It's George Clooney and Adam Sandler in some sort of Netflix like original fucking bullshit, which sounds, big names, but
mother, father, brother, sister. Did you see? That's the other Adam, Kylo Ren.
Oh, Driver.
Adam Driver.
Sure.
Yeah. So I heard buzz about that. But anyway, go with your 10. Let's see.
Okay, so I was thinking the Hamnet. I've heard a lot about the Hamnet. Yeah. At least for actress. You told me today that Paul Mescal's in it. I didn't realize he was in it. He's also in a movie coming out called The History of Sound, which is like a gay love story about two somewhat pioneers of some musical, I don't know, something or other. But it's going to be Josh O'Connor from the tennis movie Challengers and him. But I didn't know he was in Hamnet. So working actor Paul Mescal, shouts out. I was also thinking, I wrote the Testament of Anne Lee because we'll see where this goes and this whole like 27, whatever gets the longest standing always like gets a bit of a buzz on Twitter. So I'm always like quick to bite at that. Wicked, probably. The Wicked sequel, Wicked for Good, which the fact that they called Wicked Part 1, it's like if they called Dune Part 2, Dune, The Worm Diaries. like Dune 2, like not even Dune 2, like it's Dune 1 and Dune 2, like Dune 1 and Dune Worm Time. Like
Dune 3 is not going to be out in time, right?
No, that'll probably be next year. But Timmy actually just went bald. So they're filming it now because he's scalped.
Oh, Emma Stone went bald too.
Yeah, for Bugonia.
Yes.
Which is
that's going to be on your list, right?
It is not. I feel like it's one of his, because Kind of Kindness was another movie that he made that I felt was like a lower budget, more like kind of expressionist, weird, avant-garde thing he was trying to do. And I feel like Bugonia might be kind of the same thing. Like now he's just sort of like off in his own world doing his own thing. Like Poor Things was like pretty high budge.
Yeah.
And like kind of conceptual and high. But I feel like these are more like, I don't know. Like he's really in his bag doing his own thing off to the side, I feel. But then One Battle After Another is the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie coming out starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like that's just
when
like,
he goes after his daughter.
Yeah, I feel like that's just got like Oscar buzz written all over it. It's like all of the names that they love to shout out every time.
Yeah, Leo acting just a little bit crazy.
Right. And it's like, oh, he's older now, so we respect him more because that's what happens to men. Like, you know, it's like with women, it's like after you're 30, you're toast. And with men, it's like, wow, now you're so wise and revered. Okay, whatever. Like that, like honestly, what I've seen in the commercials and stuff for that movie, like don't really excite me, but I definitely will go see it and I probably will like it. But yet to be seen. Also, like, this is a sleeper, I think, but maybe Marty Supreme, the Timothée Chalamet ping pong movie that's going to come out. I think the Academy just loves Timothy right now.
We need a good ping pong movie right now.
Right, a ping pong biopic. It's easy. A Safdie brother ping pong biopic, sure. Like, that's what I'm going to be happy to go see on the list. Like, there's going to be some fucking Western. I'm going to be like, fuck! But it's like, we're going to finally get around to see the ping pong movie.
We're going to see the ping pong movie even if it's not nominated.
Yeah,
I said it.
I think he'll probably get an actor nom, though, just like of his caliber and like his career trajectory. I feel like they want to really gas him up now. So.
You feel like he's going to get one each year if he can.
Yeah, or at least, you know, like sparsely here and there. We'll see. But then I think Avatar.
Yep.
I think like will blow my mind if it doesn't get a picture nom, just because 2 did, and I'm hoping that 3 will even rise to the occasion and be better.
How many total?
5.
Yeah.
They've filmed them all.
Yes.
So it's done filming.
This I understand.
And all it is post-production stuff now, but they don't start production for the next movie until they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of technological advancements, they like want to be on the cutting edge so bad that it would make no sense for them to like even be working on the last one. Because in their minds, they're like, well, that's 8 years from now, and who knows?
Plus, there aren't enough people in the universe to be working on 2 of those movies at the same time.
Yeah, so real. But I'm really excited for the new Avatar movie. It comes out on my birthday. I feel like James Cameron like did that for me. He was like, Dara, this one's for you. It's actually just like a really normal day that a lot of movies come out because it's exactly one week before Christmas. But then I was also thinking the Bruce Springsteen biopic with Jeremy Allen White. I think he'll get the nom for sure. The reviews are coming in and saying
Academy loves a biopic.
Right. And especially
a musician.
The reviews are coming in and saying that the music part is spot on.
Okay.
His performance is dead on, so amazing, that the musical sequences are awesome, but that the rest of the movie's kind of a dud. And that's what all musician biopics are to me, right? It's like awesome when you get to see them doing the thing that they're famous for.
That you remember.
Right? And then the rest of it is like, oh, and then there was an evil manager who like tried to screw them over, and then they got a better deal. And then they became famous.
And this was their love life.
Yeah. And also, like, they either, like, got married or got divorced or whatever in that time. Well, fucking whatever. But I feel like they love a biopic. And if it's not the ping pong biopic, it'll be the Bruce Springsteen biopic. Teetering on Frankenstein. So Guillermo del Toro just did a Frankenstein adaptation, but it's a Netflix original, so it was like not going to be in theaters, but then they just decided that they were going to put it in some theaters, and it's like this whole weird thing with Netflix.
Hybrid.
Yeah, that they like Netflix doesn't typically do. Oh, but do you know what I will say you should watch though? If you Jen, every year you typically try to watch all the animateds as well.
I know what you're going to say.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my short list.
I think that will inevitably be nominated, if not be the clear winner for this year.
And I know it's not timely to this Oscar conversation, but looping back to Chloe Grace Moretz, Nimona.
She was Nimona?
Yeah, she was Nimona in the Netflix animated movie that was really, really, really good.
Okay, that was nominated last year. That you watched for that reason. But I will say, if you want to get ahead of the curve, it's on Netflix because it was just on Netflix. And then what happened was was it Coachella? Was it Lollapalooza? It was some big concert festival where they had the girls who did the music for the movie. Like, they're not a real band. They're just like 3 musicians. They got to just do the music for the movie or whatever. But they came out like as the girls from the movie. Oh, and Netflix dumped a fucking $1 billion into a laser light drone show
Oh, wow.
all around them. So it was just like the spectacle of the night. And like that got so popular that then they put the movie in theaters.
I'm totally going to watch that this weekend.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
I accidentally went to a sing-along showing. I didn't realize like that until we got there.
I want to go to a sing-along showing of anything.
And honestly, no, it was like all these kids, like not just the songs, like they knew the dialogue. It was so funny to me. I was like, this is their Twilight. I was like, really? Like, this is like the thing.
I think Twilight's getting re-released in theaters. Like,
oh, really?
soon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Like
Just
all of them.
like
I don't know.
yearly.
Oh, is it an anniversary?
Anniversary, maybe.
I don't know.
I had a coworker who said that her 6th grade daughter had never seen Hunger Games. And she was like, oh, I'll take it out from the library. Like, you know, I'll get the DVD from the library. We can watch it this weekend. And she accidentally ordered Twilight. And she's like, oh, my daughter was pissed at me because I accidentally ordered the Twilight movie when I was meant to order. And I was like, yeah, I would be pissed too. Hunger Games is so much better. Like,
it was on TBS during when we were at the gym the other day.
Twilight?
No, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. That's like my general, I guess, thoughts about the pre-Oscar season.
So not to loop it to past Oscar seasons, but did you know Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie were nominated actress and supporting actress
For this movie?
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But they lost to 2 actresses from the movie Network, which I vaguely
Who fucking remembers that?
Yeah, I really don't remember Network.
No one.
Yeah.
And I thought both of them crushed it. So actually, how far are we in? Like 10 minutes into this show? Sorry, we're going to start talking about the movie. But Carrie, I am excited to talk to you about because we saw that fuck-ass Chloe Grace Moretz, Julianne Moore remake in 2013. And it was like kind of silly because I was a freshman in high school, so I was probably 13 years old. And I had read the book. So you were like, oh, like, even though the movie's rated R, we can go see the movie because you read the book. And like, that's the rule, you know, that generally checks out. And it was the morning or like the matinee, I guess, showing of, it was like my freshman like school dance or whatever. And we were like, wouldn't it be funny if we went and saw Carrie like before I got ready for the dance? Like that would be so funny. So we went to like a 2:30 showing or something, right? And then afterwards you like dropped me off to like go hang out with my friends. Was it on a Saturday
then? Because aren't dances usually like you have to go to school to go to the dance?
No, I feel like it was like the night of it was like a Saturday night.
Must have been a Saturday then, yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was so funny that we went and saw the Carrie movie, you know, before my school dance. I'm like, what a you and I thing to go to. But it was my first R-rated movie ever because, you know, what you have to be 17 to buy your own ticket. And, you know, I definitely had seen R-rated movies at home and stuff, so it was not like a huge deal, but it was like in the theater.
Yes.
It was a big thing. Do you remember your first theater R-rated movie?
I do, and it was the Blue Lagoon.
I'm sorry. Please clarify.
With Brooke Shields and Christopher Atkins, and there are these 2 kids that get marooned on a desert island as children, and then they grow up together. It was quite the thing. I want to say, you know the song "Endless Love"?
Maybe
by Lionel Richie.
Sure.
I feel like that was in that movie, maybe. But more, I was going to say, I was telling Dara today, we were talking about our history with this movie. My mom took me to an R-rated movie when the Girl Scouts were all going on a hayride. Now, was I in Girl Scouts when I was like 14? I don't remember. But I couldn't go on the hayride.
Seasonal allergies.
Because I have really bad allergies. So she took me to an R-rated movie called Love Story with Ryan O'Neal and Ali McGraw. And I remember that I went to it.
That it was.
I didn't ask to go to it, but that was my mom taking me. But then I feel like for some reason one of my first R-rated movies, the one I was excited to go to, was Blue Lagoon.
I remember I snuck into the NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton.
Yes.
Because I was 16 and I wanted to see it. And my friend who was older than me just bought a ticket. and then that was it. So it was not very climactic sneaking into the theater. But I specifically remember a friend's story where her and her friend wanted to see The Big Short. And they like went to go buy tickets, and the person was like, this is an R-rated movie and you guys are like clearly two 12-year-old girls. And so she called her dad, and he came and he bought them tickets, and he was like, it's a movie about economics. Let them go see it. He was like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, and three for The Big Short, and I'm leaving. Like, okay, you weird movie people.
I don't want the movie guy to get fired, though.
No, yeah, that's true. But I had never seen this movie, the 1976 version of Carrie. Of course, as previously mentioned, I'd seen the shitty, I say shitty, it was just kind of unmemorable to me and sort of unremarkable in the way that I don't really think it did too much that we hadn't seen before of like iconic Carrie, because even though I had never seen this movie before, I felt like I knew so many adaptations,
yeah,
like through just references, like cultural. But I also, this was the first Stephen King book I ever read. I had like a bit of a phase. I haven't read a ton of Stephen King, but I feel like he's one of those authors that you can kind of get away with reading him when you're kind of young, because adults like respect that it's like literature, that it's like, oh, like Stephen King is like a renowned, like well-known, well-respected author. So it's like, even though that book is about like gore and really deeply upsetting and traumatizing things, it's like when you see a, you know, a middle school age kid reading that, you're kind of like, hey, good for you. That's good for you for reading above your age
when
level.
The 8th grade boys are all reading it.
Right. And it's like about a gang rape scene. It's like, oh God. But I definitely had a bit of an SSR, sustained silent reading, middle school, like Stephen King phase. And I feel like Carrie's maybe the one that like plot wise, like actually stuck with me the most. Cause I read The Green Mile too. And like later in life, I think I read Carrie and,
Misery.
Misery. That's what I meant. Yeah, I read Misery on a plane. That might be it, honestly. But Carrie, I remember it's like told in the book through like not letters. Like, I mean, some of it is letters, but every chapter is like a source document. So it's either like something from someone's diary or a page from Sue Snell's autobiography. My name is Sue Snell, or like a newspaper clipping about how many gas stations Carrie blew up. Like, so it's kind of interesting storytelling. So I think maybe that's why it was more impactful to me. Also, it was like about a lot of the other characters who weren't Carrie, which I feel like this movie portrayed more than I thought it would. I thought it would mostly be about like freaky, weird telekinesis girl, but like we actually do get a lot of scenes with the gym teacher.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Chris and her boyfriend, John Travolta. Jump scare John Travolta. Did not think he was going to be here, but sure. Like, I remember there being a lot of, like, what was his character's name? I don't even remember.
Was he...
Tommy Ross. Tommy's the boy who takes her to prom.
Billy Nolan?
Billy. There were, like, a lot of, like, pages from Billy's diary, I remember, in the book, being like, why the fuck do I care? But,
when he was, like, actually drinking while he was driving, I was like, come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that whole sequence was so funny, though. Like, the guys pull up and throw him the beer, and then the girls pull up and, like, hoot and holler at him, and then the cops pull up, and he's like, oh, no.
Do you think Brian De Palma, like, wanted to put enough comedy in it so that the...
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, Piper Laurie thought it was supposed to be funny.
I read that, yes.
That she, like, was delivering the scenes, like, with a little bit of cheek, and, like, she was, like, kind of laughing between takes, and they were like, you know that this is, like, about abuse, right? And she's like, but it's kind of silly, right?
I thought that it could have been a Saturday Night Live character.
No, she was giving 110%. Yeah. I love her. She's in the TV show Twin Peaks. She plays Catherine Martell, who owns the sawmill of the town. So she's like the big to-do lady of the town.
Good for you, Piper.
And she overacts, and she's got that like somewhat transatlantic accent. Like she's pronouncing words. I'm like, are you British? Are you American? Are you just like, you're reading the Bible, so you're really enunciating your words?
One scene where I'm like, the mom has no accent, and Carrie all of a sudden breaks into this deep Southern accent.
Sometimes I was like, we're in Maine. We actually know 100% for certain that we're in Maine.
At Bates High School.
Yeah. But Stephen King always puts his shit in Maine because that's where he's from, which is kind of cool. Of like, you can go up and like see his house, and it's like a landmark and all that stuff. I don't know if people outside of New England are like as Stephen King pilled as we are here, but I feel like he's very much like revered as like an icon.
Yeah.
I'm sure that could be said. Just like he's like sort of the king of horror. Like the whole genre generally.
Oh yeah, you guys are gonna have a tough time this month
picking. The list is too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like there's too much that I want to cover. I'm grateful that we've covered a couple good ones in the past, so I don't feel like I have to pass on like The Shining or like Shawshank or anything like that. So I'm kind of glad, honestly, to have some in the past so we can like get into some of the more, like I've never seen Christine about the car. I'm like kind of like what's going on there? I don't know. But yeah, I had never seen this movie, but I'd read the book, so I had a good foundation of what was going on. If you haven't seen Carrie, it's about a young woman, Carrie White. She's a senior in high school, and she is being abused at home. Her mom is like a religious fundamentalist extremist and thinks that all women are inherently sinful for being women and just existing. And, you know, really, she makes her pray in a closet for like 10 hours a day. So she just doesn't really fit in at school, and like her clothes are outdated, and she just is considered to be kind of odd. So she's the target for a lot of bullying. And the movie opens on her getting her period.
Okay, first I'm going to say that we did not spend this much time in the locker room after gym class in the 70s.
This is where I immediately was like, okay, so this was directed by a man, written by a man, produced by a man. Actually, I don't think any woman had any part in production at all, because
it was 76, so
this sweeping open sequence of all these girls
full
like
frontal,
bush out, titties out, running through the locker room. Like, okay, that never happens. This is like some male fantasy of what they think happens in the girls' locker room. Also, they're like snapping each other with towels and like chasing each other. I'm like, no, I think that's what you do. I think that's what boys do in the locker room. Like, girls are not snapping each other with towels, you fucking weirdo. But this big opening, locker room shower sequence where she gets her period for the first time, and she's sort of like honestly kind of feeling herself. And I'm like, that is not the way a shy person showers at school.
I thought she was covering herself, like, and maybe that Sissy Spacek didn't want to be full frontal.
Right, but like maybe they pushed for it in a couple of scenes or something, because she was 27 here. Because she's so skinny and small. I genuinely was like worried that she was not like of an age to, but she was 27. So like that made me feel a little bit better that she had some like authority and maybe, you know, control over the situation.
But I wrote their ages. Travolta was 22. Sissy Spacek, I had her as 26.
26,
so
okay.
Amy Irving was 19 and William Catt was 25.
So Amy Irving is who? Sue Snell?
Sue Snell. Yeah.
And the blonde boy,
he was 25.
25. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense, I guess. And she gets her period, but then since her mom never told her about that, she like thinks she's dying, and all the girls, she like runs up to them and is like screaming, and all of them
like nonverbal.
Right? Yeah. She's like, she's also like reaching out and like touching them and like put like, you're covered in blood. And I'm like, I would also be pissed. I wouldn't say that I would join it on the harassment per se, but I would be like, please stop touching me. And they all start throwing tampons at her and being like, you don't know what a period is. And eventually the gym teacher comes and slaps her. What? Okay.
There was a lot of full hand face slapping in this movie.
No. What was her name? Miss Collins?
Yeah.
In the book, her name was Miss Desjardins.
Right.
She's French. Which it's spelt like, you know, not how that is said, but I always thought it was Desjardins, and I like pronounced it wrong once, and somebody corrected me, so I had a big like uh-oh moment. But so it's Desjardins. She's French. I'm sorry, I took Spanish class. But yeah, she like fully slaps several students,
and then later she slaps Chris, and then John Travolta slaps Chris twice.
Yep. Yeah.
And then the mom Bible slaps Carrie.
Well, yeah, she like fully wrecks her to the ground a few times. Yeah. But like when I was in school and today, if a teacher slapped a student, that's just like immediate like, what the fuck? Would that have, like, slid under, maybe?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. They got away with a lot of stuff in the 70s.
Because you just went to, like, a normal-ass public school. You didn't go to, like, because I know in Catholic school, the rulers and the nuns and the rulers and hitting, and that's a whole thing.
In public school, we had the baseball coach would full-on throw erasers at people that weren't paying attention. He also sidearmed somebody into a wall. There was talk about it, but I mean, he still taught after that.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't like immediate like grounds for.
And then I was telling Dad, we were talking about I was on a softball team and my coach picked me up by my shoulders and pushed me against the fence because he was mad. Yeah.
Which is like not abuse, but definitely like like startling. But basically, this whole thing unfolds where Sue Snell, who in the book, it's like often a lot of the chapters are like from her autobiography that she writes after the fact to like retell the story to like hopefully prevent future bullying ? But her book is called My Name is Sue Snell, which I always just thought was so fucking stupid. It's like your anti-bullying manifesto and you're making it about yourself. My name is Sue Snell. Okay, girl, fucking whatever. But Sue Snell basically asks her boyfriend, who's like the popular boy, she's like, if you brought her to prom, that would make me feel like I made up for bullying. Kind of, she's a good person deep down. And what had happened was the teacher like read a poem. His name is Tommy something.
Tommy Ross.
Also,
so they were at Sue's house and the mom's on the phone and there's a gold framed picture of Sue and Tommy on the end table. I'm like, oh, come on.
You told me that you, like, at the time would have put more stock into the Tommy actor than John Travolta.
Yeah, if you told me he was going to be more famous back then, I would have believed you.
Right. He definitely, like, seems to have the look of that time, that, like, big hair and sort of the, like, golden boy.
Right. Sue and Tommy had such beautiful curly hair. They had to be together. Right? But the English teacher's reading the poem.
And it's like, what song? Is it a song?
I don't even know, but
I didn't get the joke. It was supposed to be like either a song or a poem. My guess is like a popular song.
Yeah.
Or like a poem that existed. But he's reading this poem kind of sarcastically, being like, oh, and you really wrote this. And it's sort of like the whole class is in on the farce. But of course, Carrie is so out of the loop that when asked for criticism, she's like, I thought that was so beautiful. And everyone like laughs at her, including the teacher. The teacher like joins in on sort of negging her. And in the whole time of the movie, you're like, I would hope someone in real life, would have identified something, reached out to this girl, like showed some kindness. Because in this movie, she is just berated and belittled and bullied
by everyone.
It's just like, oh, like it just hurts my heart. And like I would just hope in real life that, a teacher would recognize that something was going. Because even they have the whole scene after where they're sending her home from her period, and the principal is like, oh, she should, she's a teenage girl. Like, that's crazy. She doesn't know this. I'm like, dude, maybe your school system should have sex ed, you fucking idiot.
Well, and then when they're like, she can just walk home. I'm like, she just got bullied by the whole junior class.
Right. Miss Desjardins, Miss Collins is like, she can just go. She can go. And I'm like, well, she's going to kill a kid on his bike on the way home as retribution. But I always remembered relating to that a lot in the book. People called her Cassie. And she's like, my name is Carrie. And then she'd do some telekinesis shit. Because I always like, this having been my first sort of foray into Stephen King, but having recognized him as like a pillar of horror and like knowing who he was definitely before the fact, I was always kind of like never fully trusting when like an adult man talks about teen girl experiences, because I'm kind of like, where are you coming out with this? Like, I don't believe you really have some insight here. But with Stephen King, this is sometimes the case for me. And I think as a teen, when I was reading this, my thought was like, he is probably someone who was bullied. So to write a book about a young man being bullied, everyone will immediately project that as being, you're a weird, somewhat outcasted adult. You're probably a weird outcast kid this is probably about you. But then if you gender swap it, it can be outside of yourself. It can be this other thing.
I heard there was an interview with him where he said there was a girl in his school who was bullied, who he will not name. And he didn't partake, but he didn't do anything to stop it.
Right. You know, you witness, the girl who has the homemade clothes get bullied for having homemade clothes. And you're like, well, that was shitty. Guess I'll write a book about it.
Yeah.
But the whole teen girl, like man writing about a teen girl, like typically doesn't sit right with me. And then especially, like I said, all like the male production elements in this movie, I think like suck a lot of what could be like more, I don't know, insightful things that they say. But I'm like, Stephen King does kind of clock it when he's like, as a teen girl, the one thing that could offset what's happening to my body right now would be that if I could control shit with my mind, that would basically make this worth it, right? Like, that's about it. It's like, I want to be able to zap people with my brain and stop their hearts and make light bulbs explode and make fire hoses go crazy style. That's what I'm feeling as a teen girl. And I felt like he really locked into something there, you know, whether he got some like sage advice from his wife or something there, you know, I'm thinking.
I think his wife did convince him to make this into a movie.
I believe it. I didn't know this was his first published novel ever.
I believe that's correct.
It was Carrie.
Not his first novel, but the first one that got published.
Published,
right?
Yeah. I think he had he was doing freelance writing a lot. Like, so I know he'd like been published in magazines and short stories and stuff. But I think this was like the first official on the books novel, and it was surprising to me to find out 1974.
Yes,
the book comes out. 1976, the movie comes out. Within 2 years. So that means like within like a year and a half of your book coming out, that means there's already been a movie conversation. That's crazy.
And I read that they paid him $2,500 and he took it because he was so happy for one of his books to get made into a movie.
Honestly, and I bet that, you know, was a smart thing. I'm sure it helped launch his career as a writer because this was an Oscar-nominated film. So it was at least recognized. I also feel like horror as a genre was kind of popping off at this time, right? Like late 70s into the 80s.
And even though you put it down, the ending was really like alarming, devastating, and groundbreaking.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't put it down so much. I think, just because we've been like culturally desensitized to the dropping of the pig blood thing, because that's so, you know, whatever. Trophy, I remember the book being like deeply upsetting, and I was like really like my heart was beating in the minutes leading up to this movie because you're like, oh my God, I wish I could jump in there and stop it. Like, it feels so tangible, right? Like, Chris is behind the stage. Well, so for the plot of Carrie, what had happened was Sue Snell asked her boyfriend, will you take Carrie to prom so I can not be a bully and I can go to heaven? And he's like, well, she doesn't say that, but it feels like that. And he's like, yeah, I guess so, whatever, babe. And he's like, Carrie, will you go to prom with me? And she runs away fast, and then he goes to her house and he's like, pay, and she's like, please leave, and he's like, please go to prom with me, and she's like, please go away,
please go to prom with me this Friday.
Tomorrow, all within her period. This movie all takes place during Carrie's 5-day cycle.
She makes herself a pink satin dress,
right? Which was supposed to be red in the book. I also remember because that was the color of the devil.
Yeah.
But he basically like berates her until she's like, my mom is gonna come hit me with a book. Sure, I'll go to prom with you. Please leave. And she basically then is like, I'm a telekinetic god. You're gonna fucking listen to me, Mom, and you're not gonna stop me from having one normal teenage high school experience. And her mom is like, clearly also not just a religious fanatic and extremist, but also like severely mentally ill. She's hitting herself and she's, you know, abusing Carrie in a way that seems like really outside of herself. Like she, you know, is enacting on some higher power that she thinks she has. It's very deeply upsetting because you also sort of empathize with her as a character that she was also deeply wronged. And she talks about being sexually assaulted by her dad and feeling sinful and this whole like grappling with getting pregnant, you know, out of wedlock ? Like, she says it's sinful. I'm like, does she just think that having sex at all is sinful? I guess
maybe
she was like, we were married, but we lived without the temptation. So I guess she just thinks that you can't do it ever. But then, it happened once and she kind of liked it and then she felt bad. But this whole thing is that once she got pregnant, she felt like it was the Antichrist because she felt like it was a representation of this sin that had happened to her. She has this crazy, like, impactful line where she says, like, I should have killed myself when he put it in me. Like, it's not even a person, right? It's this, like, other disgustingness. So she clearly has this, like, deep-seated resentment for Carrie.
Well, in the book, too, her mom had the telekinetic powers, so she kind of...
Right!
So she kind of knew that it was going to run in her family.
Yeah, so a wild difference between the book and the movie that I would be remiss to note upon is, like, Carrie's agency over her own power and the, like,
much
origin,
earlier in the book.
The origin point, right? Because the movie really makes it seem like she gets her period, she becomes a woman, quote unquote, the light bulb explodes, and she's like, what's going on? She as an active character, she does her research. She goes to the library. She goes to the
She uses the card catalog.
The Dewey Decimal System to find out telekinesis, right? Is that going to be in the health section or the psychic section? Like, what's going on here? But she looks into it. So it seems like she's, like, coming into this power for the first time. Whereas in the book, it was the whole basis of the book, like I said, is all these, like, found reports and documents. And a bunch of them are about people with the TK gene, is what they call it, the telekinetic gene. And it's all about this genetic passing down of telekinetic abilities and how Carrie's dad and mom both had the TK gene. So they kind of maybe knew they were going to get a freaky telekinetic baby. There's also discussion about how Carrie's grandma was, they call her a fire starter.
Right.
Which is like a note to a different Stephen King book and
Drew
universe
Barrymore.
that he develops. But also Carrie's abilities and telekinesis are somewhat akin to Shining, which is also like so he sort of takes this telekinetic fascination in his first novel and definitely uses it as like a jumping off point for a lot of different other things he explores in his books, which is why I was always kind of drawn to him as an author, because horror as a flat out genre doesn't bore me. And I do like it sometimes, but I always like when there's a little bit more of a sci-fi element or like a fantasy element, like a sci-fi fantasy. I like more the genre bending of like something else that is also very scary,
right?
Rather than just like, it's just murder. It's like less, I don't know, my jam. So I was into this whole like telekinetic ability sort of thing. And in the book, it said that she did it for the first time as a small kid.
Right.
And they talk about her raining stones down on the house and hail on the house and stuff. So her mom lives with this knowledge that her daughter has this ability. Whereas in the movie, it's like directly equated to puberty and periods, which like maybe they were just trying to condense the themes or something, you know. But in the Chloe Grace Moretz movie, if I do remember, they focus a lot more on her developing her telekinetic abilities like on her own. Like she's practicing a lot, and I think they maybe do some flashbacks of her as a kid practicing.
Yes,
but I remember that movie was a lot more like they couldn't focus it as much on bullying because Chloe Grace Moretz is just objectively not someone who would be bullied. Like when you look at her,
right,
it just doesn't make sense. So they really had to make it about her being like a weird witchy psychic girl. So it was like more like she was harnessing her powers, and that's why people thought she was weird, because she was kind of like spacey, I guess. But my qualms, so we were talking about The Principal a minute ago, and I meant to bring up there's going to be another remake. It's going to be a TV series. I don't know. My guess would be Netflix, but I don't know who's going to put it out. But it's
Shaggy's going to be the principal.
Yes. Oh my God, what's his name?
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, it's going to be the principal, which I was like, weird that they have the casting for that posted, because it's like not a huge role, but maybe they'll make it more. But Mike Flanagan, who made the TV shows Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor, and he does a lot of like Netflix horror stuff that is like fairly reputable, and I thought was good enough to base going to see a movie on. But he recently released a movie called The Life of Chuck, which honestly was one of the first movies in the past decade that I've considered leaving during.
Really?
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad that I like felt bad that the person I was with, that we were there.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Like, I could not believe it. I was like, wow, you made some good stuff.
Who was in that one?
With Loki, what's his name?
Oh, Tom Hiddleston. Okay.
And a couple other people. Oh my god, it was just like, it was so corny and just like poorly written, and I just like suffered.
Yeah.
So I have lost some directorial respect for Mike Flanagan since. But I did like The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor shows, so I hope he's good with horror. But he's doing a Carrie series. But the thing that sort of sets me off, especially like in 2025, where, you know, I don't know, I would hope we'd be, I don't want to say like woke or just like better representation or something, but it seems like who they cast as Carrie is a slim to average size, slim, what would be considered a slim young woman. And however they're going to portray her as being bullied, that's fine. But it just has never really sat right with me that every movie, TV, straight to TV movie, whatever iteration of Carrie we see, she's always so skinny. And that is not the truth of the book. They pour pig's blood on her because they make fun of her for being overweight. They make fun of her for being bigger, which, what is comically large in 1974, probably not even considered big today. You know what I mean? Like, she probably just like had a little extra around the hips or something. But the whole thing is that they make pig noises at her because she's supposed to be comically overweight.
Right.
It is the whole thing. And they negate that.
Right.
In every visual representation.
Though that Sissy Spacek just did such, they cast her, you know, again, but she did such a good job that now all the Carries have to be thin and pale because they aspire to be Sissy Spacek.
Although I do think Sissy Spacek like definitely set the bar and probably has yet to be meet for portrayal of Carrie. I think that it is solely based on male directors wanting that shower scene and knowing that they're not going to get out of it what they want out of it if she's not conventionally attractive in some way. And also
a flat stomach.
Their ability to have an audience sympathize with her. Like, to have her blow up the whole school, but she's beautiful, skinny, and blonde. It's like, maybe you can see her point of view. But if you don't find her conventionally attractive, the director's going to assume that you're not going to be able to sympathize with her, which is fucked up.
You're not going to take her side at any level. Okay.
Right? Yeah, like the fat phobia and just like the general aversion. But it upsets me because I'm like, if Carrie is supposed to be this big redemption story for people who get bullied, then shouldn't they see themselves on the screen, right? Like, shouldn't the girl getting her big bullying redemption look like a girl who gets bullied? Girls who look like Chloe Grace Moretz and Sissy Spacek don't really get bullied. Like, not to say never. Maybe if you have a weird fundamentalist hyper-religious mother, maybe. Like, maybe. I'm not saying maybe. And, you know, Sissy Spacek, she was also like, maybe overly skinny. We go in the other direction then. Like, she can't be overweight, so she has to be like spindly.
Right.
It has to go the other way.
And, not to change the subject, but at the end series when her face, oh my god, when she's blowing up that gym,
scary, like creepy too.
Yeah, that deserves her the best actress nom right there. It's just the look on her face.
No, I thought
eyes.
All of it was astounding from her. I thought she really tapped into, like, especially that scene of her looking in the mirror and the mirror's like bulging. Yeah. And when you're having like scary girl mirror time, right? Where you're like looking at your acne and you're like, like the psycho music is literally playing while the mirror is bulging at her. Like, I felt in those moments she really captured it too, of like the uncomfortableness to, like, a boy's talking to you in the library and you're like, I'm gonna run away. Bye. Like, I love that from her too. But yeah, her and Piper Laurie, I think both killed it in this movie. And everyone else I'm gonna give like a B. Yeah. Like a B plus.
What's the girl in the hat?
The girl. Oh, what was her? Yeah,
Norma.
Yeah. She was like assistant bully. She was the bystander.
She wore the hat everywhere.
Yeah, baseball cap. Yeah, to the prom as well.
Yeah,
that was weird too.
Yeah, I thought John Travolta and Kristen were horribly acting.
No, in the book I remember his character. It was like he was deeply evil, and that
it takes a special kind of evil to actually axe kill a pig.
Real. But his whole thing was like this seemed more like John Travolta was like, my girlfriend has titties and she asked me to do this, and she like gives him a blowjob at one point, but she's like talking to him the whole time her head is down there. And she's like, I hate Carrie White. And I'm like, wow. She really lives in your mind rent-free, huh? Because she's not even thinking about you. She's thinking about going to the prom. She's thinking about Jesus. She's thinking about a million other things. You're down here, your head in John Travolta's lap, and all you can think of is Carrie White. Gay. But it seemed more to be like sexually motivated for me, that he was like, my hot girlfriend wants me to do this. Ha ha ha, I'll do it. Whereas in the book, he was like, I don't even care who the victim is. I like enacting pain on others. It's like it's supposed to be just like a deeply evil man. So honestly, they gave him kind of a lighthearted push with John Travolta here.
At the time, John Travolta was in a TV show called Welcome Back, Kotter, which was Cotter was this guy, Gabe Kaplan. He just had a room with the same 5 kids all the time. So John Travolta played Vinnie Barbarino. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple lines I'm like, oh my God, he's channeling Vinnie Barbarino.
He was like a child actor?
No, it was only about the same time.
Okay.
But
was this like when he was like really just starting?
Totally, like Saturday Night Fever hadn't even come out.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was in this, and I was he looked so young here. I was kind of shocked to see him.
His breakout was a TV movie called The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Really?
And he had some immune problem where he had to live in a bubble.
Wait.
Yeah.
Kind of relatable though. That sounds kind of nice.
Like, I don't know if it was a after school show but it was wildly popular.
That's really funny. Yeah. You said that the gym teacher.
Okay,
you told me about a Scientology connection.
So I got a little connection. I was doing a bit of a deep dive. So the gym teacher was the mom on this TV show called 8 is Enough. Her name was Abby, but she's Betty Buckley. Mm-hmm. And then John Travolta was dating an actress from that show. And the actress from that show is the woman who introduced him to Scientology.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Miss Desjardins has something to do with all of this.
Exactly.
It has something to do with John Travolta's dead son. Google it. Scientology low-key convinced John Travolta to put his son in a home where they then led to his death, is what I'll say. You can look into it and decide for yourself, but I think Scientology's kind of fucked. And I still think it's kind of prevalent. Like, I think a lot of, I don't want to say like Illuminati or like secret society, but I almost feel like there's like whatever iteration of Scientology, like I don't think it's dead. I think they've got some young celebrities in on it, but they're just like maybe calling it something else.
All I know is Tom Cruise and like Leah Remini. That's all I know.
Yeah. Which it's like when you look into it, their belief system seems so vague that you're like, this has to be a cover up for something. You're like, there's no way you guys don't all like get together and like pray about this, huh? Oh, and there's like a income based like tax bracket system to even get in the door. Weird. But yeah, I was surprised to see John Travolta here at all. But I honestly was kind of enlightened by all of his scenes. I thought he did a really good job. Just being kind of the dumb jock boyfriend who like doesn't want to be called dumb with the mean girlfriend, like such a classic trope. She's like, you're stupid, and he's like, you're a slut, and that's their like whole. And they're perfect for each other. Ha ha ha. I just want to see what time we're at. Hee hee. Okay.
I was also going to say that I love the wardrobe choices in this movie.
I thought all of it was visually so stunning. The camera work, the cinematography, the lighting.
The music, it goes from the beautiful flute music to the crazy psycho music.
Oh, yeah. Just, no, all of it, I thought, like, I wanted to kind of dislike this movie, especially right out the gate, where I was like, this nasty towel snapping, pedophilic, male gaze-ass camera work. And then they had the girls do their gym detention and they had them like do laps, but it was like also running up their booty shorts, and all of the teen girls have the exact same body type, which is like an adult woman. It's like, interesting what we're doing here. Did not love that.
Did you have to wear school issued gym clothes?
No.
I had the gym shorts with the white piping and it had your school name on it.
No, I was
and the baseball shirts. It was white with colored sleeves.
We just had to change, but there was a big thing that if gym was your first period of the day and you came to school in your gym clothes, they didn't like that. They wanted you to change. But you're like, it's my first period of the day, so why wouldn't I just wear my gym clothes here and then change into my clothes after first period? And they were like, that's not the rules. And I always thought that was freaking stupid. But nobody ever showered, really, because I don't think we ever really got that sweaty. It was not really that involved.
Yeah. They made us shower, but we didn't hang out in the locker room. We just hurried up, got it done.
I feel like my experience in the locker room that's how me and Emily actually became friends, because in middle school, we were both in the same gym class because it alternated with band, and her and her twin sister, their locker was like right next to mine, and they would always like put on music while we were all like changing and doing our deodorant and stuff. And I feel like that was a very easily like conversation catalyst, because it's just like, oh, you like this band? That's cool. Like social icebreakers. That's I feel like how we became friends. But you got changed so fast. Like in the beginning, where Carrie is supposed to be this like awkward, outcast, nervous girl, and she's like in the shower, like kind of feeling herself, soaping herself up. I'm like, that's not how a nervous girl showers. You shower like hunched over for 45 seconds max. You're like, get the pits, the tits, the pits in between the legs, and I'm out of here. Like, yeah, she's not spending enough time to like get into it, get soapy and sudsy. Absolutely not. But if we want to get into some of our regularly scheduled programming, I feel like all the adults in this movie suck, and then everyone else is teenagers, so we're not really going to do fuck, marry, kill, because I feel like it would just be like, kill her mom, kill the principal, honestly, maybe kill the gym teacher too, like fuck all of the adults in this movie, just like at a baseline for neglecting Carrie, right? I'm like, all of you failed her. As much as the gym teacher tries to get this arc of like she's looking out for her and she's doing good for her, it is ultimately her at the end who prevents Sue from stopping the
because she thinks that Sue
is part of it, which I almost did for a second too. When Sue shows up to the dance, and you're kind of like, you're not supposed to be here. And she's like sneaking in, like, what? Like, just to watch her boyfriend be with Carrie? Like, just to sort of get a glimpse on your good deed that you did or whatever?
That's the way I took it.
That's the way I took it, too, at the end. But as soon as she snuck in, I was like, oh, my God, this is the plot twist. That she was in it, too. And she's going to be the one to pull the rope. But no, that was not the case.
Yeah.
And she like sort of clocks it, and then the teacher ushers her out and saves her life by getting her out of the gym. And then the end of the movie is Carrie explodes everything. But also in the book, I want to say, in the book, she fully does domestic terrorism and goes on a rampage. She targets several gas stations specifically to explode them and destroy the town. Like, this almost seemed a little bit innocent.
Like watered down.
Really, yeah. Because in the movie, it was like she's specifically targeting the electrical units to murder everyone on site. Whereas this one seems more like, like I'm just lashing out
like opportunistic
in any way. Yeah. But in this one, she gets basically everyone in the gym. She like murks totally completely. And then John Travolta and his girlfriend get off and they scurry away. But then they have an incident where they meet up with her later and she flips their car.
She rolls the car over. Yeah, and it blows up.
But in the book, she destroys like half the town. I think she kills like 500 people in the book. And it like leaves the town never the same again kind of
And
way.
then the nightmare at the end where Sue is visiting the grave and the hand comes up from the grave.
Oh my God, right. Because at that point, you're sort of like, how does this movie feel about Carrie? Because it's like, she's in hell. It's like, I thought we were supposed to kind of feel for her.
People still bullying her.
But it was just Sue's, like, nightmare incident where she's basically, like, the sole survivor. And she, like, has these flashbacks about this one night that, like, could she have stopped it if she didn't make her boyfriend do that thing? Like, well, yes.
Yeah.
Also, the way he gets knocked on the head by the bucket, and in the book, he dies. He gets hit on the head with the bucket and passes away on sight.
Right.
Like, that is crazy to me.
He gets knocked out and they carry him out.
Crazy. But I just thought that whole scene where she, like, turns all the lights red and massacres everyone. It's like, I thought it would feel kind of, like, played out and overdone because I've seen it. But, like, it just, like, so captured me and was so tense and I don't know, engrossing. But so we're not gonna play Fuck, Marry, Kill, but if you're having a little party, a menstruation party, I think I actually mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but I have a hot menstruation tip for anyone who's here 50 plus minutes into the episode. Is I was complaining about my period and I was like, I wish I could just take the pill because I'm on the birth control pill, and you take 3 weeks of the one that, you know, makes you not have babies, and then you do 1 week and you have your period, and then you know, continue is generally how it works. And I was like, damn, I wish I could just take the pills that stop my period all the time. My friend who worked at Planned Parenthood for a long time was like, you know, you can do that, right? I was like, that's not real. And they were like, yeah, it is. Like, you having your period is just like a chosen thing. Like, you don't need to have one. I can't fully advocate for it yet because I'm still in the like transition period, right? Where your body, like, I have a lot of acne and gaining weight and hormonal shit. So like that kind of fucking sucks. But on the road to just not have periods anymore, I didn't know that was an option. So that is an option. If you want to ask your OBGYN about it, you can just not have a period. Didn't know that it's a religious thing. They put the week in there because religious people think the woman's body needs to cleanse itself, but that is just scientifically not true. So interesting info.
Did not know that.
For anyone out there who needs it. But you're having your little care. Oh, well, so I mentioned menstruation because I feel like this party is kind of hard to serve food and drink for because this is sort of a menstruation-heavy movie and you don't really want to go with that per se because that's kind of gross. But, like, maybe you lean into it for it to be funny. But I don't know. So my result is that, like, what is something doused in a delicious red sauce? Because that's right, like, Carrie gets doused upon, and I'm like, what is covered in something red that I want to eat? And that's an enchilada. So I think you just Carrie dump that sauce all over your enchilada, and then I'm thinking, I just think Miss Margaret White needs a fucking margarita. She just needs to chill the fuck out. Like, read one feminist literature book that makes her realize that it's not her fault, one therapy session, and I said maybe a watermelon margarita again.
I was going to ask you if you were going to pick a flavor. There's so many good flavors of margaritas.
Because everything in this movie is like pink and red or like
Will
of
her
the
margarita
devil.
be rimmed?
Yeah, well, like, yes, of course.
Sugar rimmed?
I think with salt, because that feels like demonic, right? Yeah. Like maybe, but I'm basing this around the enchilada, mainly. Yeah, what about you?
So I went another route. So you're going to channel the 70s prom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, first I was going to say cake, because when they were eating cake and she's like, cake gives me pimples, and the mom says pimples are the Lord's
way of humbling you or something.
God's punishment.
That was another thing in the book is that she had a lot of acne. Is that, you know, she was considered to be overweight and had acne, and that's why they like called her a pig and oinked at her and stuff. And so I was like, fucking these hot, skinny, blonde bitches they're casting to be Carrie are not overweight and do not have acne. So what gives, okay? Put a big pimply bitch up there who can deliver the role, because I know that they're out there.
So I'm going to take a plastic punch bowl and make punch, and then when nobody's looking,
you're gonna spike it.
You pour a pint of vodka in it with your silver flask.
And everyone's like, thank God, we were waiting for her to spike the punch. We're all over 30 here.
And then for your food, I was thinking a tray of like finger sandwiches, but then I was like, you know what? Upgrade the finger sandwiches and make them burger sliders with caramelized onions and red pepper relish.
Ooh, that sounds good. My original thought was to do like something pork based, because it's a pig's blood. They kill the pig, and they're always calling her a pig. So I feel like maybe like a pulled pork slider could be kind of funny.
Okay,
I think you don't really want to be eating like pig though during this movie, because it's kind of upsetting. And then what are you gonna follow this movie up with?
What did you say?
I had 2 options. I feel like the exact one-to-one is Matilda.
Yep.
That is a young woman with telekinesis who, in an abusive situation, who really turned it around for herself.
Excellent parallel.
And sort of made the most of it.
I love this comparison.
Whereas I think Carrie is just, it's more of an explosive situation, and you can't blame her, but it is like Matilda had a bit more time to sort of work her shit out. It's more of like a best case scenario for Carrie, kind of.
Matilda also had a musical based on her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a Carrie musical. So there was the 1976 movie. Now there was a sequel too that I think came out in like 2000 or something. It's called like Carrie the Revenge or something. But then there was also like a direct-to-TV movie.
It was about her sister, I think.
Yeah. There's a direct-to-TV movie, I think in like 2002 or something, that also is really not of note. And then there's the 2013 Chloe Grace Moretz version. And then there's this upcoming Netflix series, apparently. But there was also a musical that was like apparently such a disaster that there was a 1.5 hour long YouTube video about how much of a disaster it was that I only got like 10 minutes into today, because I was like, I simply do not have the time to learn about this. But apparently Carrie the musical was this like long time thing, a confluence of producers, you know, owning certain rights and being in the musical theater world, but that they made this Carrie musical and that it was like such a flop and a disaster that it like only ran for like 3 nights or something horrible. Insane. Like one of the biggest flops of all time. Enough to warrant a 90-minute YouTube video essay that I did not watch. So that's on me. But my other one was Pearl, because I feel like always in these like horror-based female-driven stories, she like has to be a victim, like usually of sexual assault or sexual abuse, but then also just like general abuse, and it has to be about this like retribution of getting back in this revenge story. I feel like Kill Bill is like that. This movie is like that. I don't know, it's always about like getting back at your abuser. Whereas I feel like Pearl, you know, it is about her circumstances and stuff, but it is mostly just about a lady who's kind of fucked. Like she's just kind of going off. And I kind of like that as a story too. Like it doesn't have to come necessarily from this place. It can also, women can just be evil for no reason also.
No motivation necessary.
Yeah, right. So I feel like as a fun follow-up to Carrie, you could do some Pearl, but I think Matilda, maybe even the musical of Matilda could be fun to watch after Carrie. What do you think?
I went with the director. I said, why don't you see another Brian De Palma film? Go with Scarface.
I've never seen Scarface, and I've never seen Mission Impossible either. So I was not.
I've seen all the. I don't think you would like the Mission Impossibles, but I do think you'd like Scarface.
It's like for boys, kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
He did Untouchables with Kevin Costner about the mob.
Very very notable director. Of this era.
But I'm going to say Scarface.
Yeah, I'm honestly looking to check it out, because the qualms I have with Brian De Palma about this movie do not supersede my interest about what else he has to offer, because I just thought this movie was like so well done and so beautiful that I'm like maybe willing to look past some like period accurate sexism type stuff, you know?
I think he has a lot of like prostitutes in his movies and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Again, like you didn't talk to a single woman before making this. Like that's kind of crazy. Thank you, Jen, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Out of 10, what would you give Carrie? I think I'm going to give this version like a 7, honestly. I thought it was pretty good. I think that there were some parts from the book that I thought they could have pulled over that would have been like not that hard. Like one scene, again, to be like, she's had these powers since she was a baby. It's not just about her period. Ha ha ha. Kind of thing. I also think from the book ends with Sue Snell thinks she's pregnant the whole book. And is worried about it and is like, what am I going to do? I'm in high school. I'm, a good girl type thing. And then at the very end, instead of in the movie, she goes to Carrie's grave and then Carrie like comes up out of hell to spook her. But then it turns out to be a dream, which sort of ends up being kind of anticlimactic and like nonsensical anyways. In the book, she goes to her in real life, and as Carrie's like dying from using too much of her fucking powers or whatever, Sue Snell like comes up to Carrie in real life, and Carrie thinks that she's like, you are a part of it, like you set me up. And in the book, Carrie can read minds, and Carrie can send out like telepathic communications to people around her, so like everyone can hear her thoughts.
They know where it's coming
she's always screaming like, "I'm fucking coming," you know. But she basically is like, Sue is like, "I know you can see into my mind. Do it." And Carrie looks into her mind and sees that there's no malice there, and then in her final moments, enters Sue's mind and goes into her body with her dying breath. And in that moment, Sue gets her period and knows she's not pregnant. So we end the story with a period the way we started it. And I just feel like that would have been a nice loop to close. And again, like to have one scene with Sue and Tommy being like, hey, I'm late. Like, please do this favor for me and take Carrie to prom because I might be having your baby. So it's time for you to step up. Like that would have been easy enough. Then I think we would have like gotten maybe some closure on the whole period motif, but small criticism. But I had a good time watching this, especially because I had so much like cultural knowledge and having had read the book and stuff. But yeah, what do you think?
I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mind watching it again. Definitely, it was quick watch. Yeah. And I thought they did enough with the other characters to like keep it interesting. Man, late 70s, give it to me with the fashion, the style choices worked for me. So,
and thank you for being here to sub in. We will be continuing Stephen King September. If you have any suggestions, I'm trying to think what we've done. The Shining, we've done Shawshank Redemption. What other Stephen Kings have we done so I can omit you from suggesting them? We'll probably do Misery if I'm being frank. And then I don't know about the other two.
Stand By Me?
Yeah, waffling. Emily's never seen Stand By Me. So, but if you have a good Stephen King shout out that you'd really like us to cover, let us know. Let us know other month themes, because this was suggested by someone who I didn't shout out, but that's okay. I will next week. And thank you all for listening. We love you and have a wonderful rest of your week.
All right. Love you all. Have an awesome night.
Bye.